raining quite heavily here in Buenos Aires. Ocampo starts on pole from Revo and Daniel Bogdasarov. Then it's Jonathan Sims starting in fourth from Oscar Folstad and Cici. Pablo Sierra down in seventh this time out. Then it's Leo and Tommy. Following them is UK Ball and Enoch Cuey. Then it's Bastian Town who starts 12th from Jack Carter and Tenali Gabo. Then it's Einar Babanas Jr., Pierre Gasly, Santino Milan, Daf Sanchez, Akari Lopez, Lewis Olsen, Cosmos, and Miguel de Souza. With Revo now leading the championship with only one race win. All 5 lights go on. And round 12 in Argentina is green, and that's a very, very good start from Sebastian Ocampo off the line. He's already way ahead of Revo before they even reach a breaking point. Revo, however, will have the inside line through turn 1. He was using tons of attack charge, and he's still not quite ahead. Folstad's muscling his way past. There's both Jonathan Simpson trying to get himself ahead of Daniel Bogdasarov, but between the two World Drivers champions in front of them, Ocampo and Revo refusing to give an inch as they now head into turn number 3. How have they not made contact? But Folstad has further back. 5-second time penalty and 2 drivers out of the race. Folstad's countryman Lewis Olsen's out, and Akari Lopez upside down at turn 3. That was quite the opening lap then. Ocampo leading away, going for his 4th win of the season. Following him is Revo, who's only taken 1 win of the season, but is still the championship leader. Then it's Oscar Folstad, reigning World Drivers champion. And I do believe, if I remember correctly, he's 4th in the championship. The man who's 2nd in the championship, Pablo Sierra, currently in 8th position as we now go back racing. And Folstad wants to go for another opportunity to try and get past Revo. The poor conditions that were seen in Manila last time out and followed us here to South America as we're on board of Sebastian Ocampo. He's quite used to winning in conditions like these. He's going for his 20th career victory as he now starts lap 2 of 12. Of course, won his first race and only his 2nd career start back in season 13. It was quite the race win, and it's a feat that many drivers wish to replicate, to win in their debut season. And in the case of many drivers, they don't get to win at all. As we now head into turn number 3, and Folstad has been passed by Jonathan Sims and Bogdasarov actually right on the back of him as well. This is the fight for the last position on the podium. Ocampo sits in who fastest first sector of anybody. Folstad still under threat from both Bogdasarov and possibly Cici if he can't get past the Sims quick enough, and almost contact between the Frenchman and the Norwegian as they now rise the hill 2 by 2, almost, and just about Bogdasarov letting go of the fight for position. Leo, definitely the star of Aurelio Pinnacle throughout the past few races. He's currently up in 8th position. Pablo Sierra in 7th, driving car number 77, while the man in front of him in the championship is currently car number 7. That's a coincidence, isn't it? But in race 12 of 18, Ocampo still heading the field, and if it finishes like this, I do believe Ocampo would lead the championship from Revo and Pablo Sierra, with Folstad dropping out of the top 10, I believe. Revo sets a new fastest lap, Sims resets it, but Folstad is trying to make the move. He's going to the inside line of Oscar Folstad, further up ahead. Revo doing the exact same thing. He's looking to the inside line of turn 2, and in fact, is trying to make the pass, goes alongside. Can he cover off? He's ahead according to our timing screens. They're still side by side into turn 3. Almost contact, but Revo takes the lead. Contact further back. Oscar Folstad is out. Virtual safety car. And with 9 laps to go, Revo finally reclaims the race lead. And by reclaims, I mean, well, takes it. He started in 2nd. He finally takes the lead back. Sims currently in 3rd position. Seems like he just ran Folstad out of room coming through turn 3, and that's a crash we see awfully often around this track. As we now go back racing on lap 3. And from this on this way, just going to point this out, they're currently running 6th and 18th. And when all of their overtakes have basically been made by drivers retiring from this race, this is not a good showing for the Nissan team. It's a brilliant showing for one of the DS automobiles who's currently leading, but Sebastian Ocampo under threat from Jonathan Sims. The rain is cleared. It's dry now. They come into the pits. Sims could lead this race. Ocampo could lead this race. As DS automobiles, they've had to hold Revo in the pits for quite a while there. Can they get him out in orderly fashion? He comes out now. Ocampo almost definitely going to be leading. He does come out of the pits ahead. Ocampo leads the field. Who's going to be second? Daniel Bogdasarov of all drivers is going to be second from Jonathan Sims and Revo, who started in second, and it's dropped down to 4th. CC and Bastien Tan both going on to hard compound tyres. And for the man currently second in the championship, Pablo Sierra, he's come out of the pits on mediums. And if last time out is anything to go by, then the mediums are definitely the safer tyres to go for. But they do last longer. The tyres, is that tyre off of foot, do last a lot longer now, and by a lot longer we mean a single lap longer, which is still very impactful in terms of strategy, because that means that the hard tyres theoretically can go to the end of the race, but with their speed disadvantage, not too sure if you want that. We're looking at the fight for second, as Sebastian Ocampo is 3.2 seconds up the road of these guys. And Leo, actually, for Aurelio Pinnacle, trying to get himself back onto the podium. But it was a very, very good stop, as further back, is that issues? No, it's not. Are there issues for some drivers? No, it just seems like a little bit of pack racing beginning to form with Gabo, Babinas Jr. and Sierra, with how they've come out of the pits, and Bogdasarov's bolting from Sims bolting from Revo, and Revo not bolting from Leo, as now Cable closing in. He's gonna get attack mode on the Aurelio Pinnacle man. The Aurelio Pinnacle man's got attack mode on Leo. What? But Cable on lap 5 of 12 in this fight for 4th position on the track. And that's a move for 4th. Leo up into 4th position, and he's got attack mode. Cable almost certainly does get ahead. Does he try and make a pass on Leo? Not quite. But Revo's now dropped outside of the top 5, and with that will not be scoring more than 10 points today. As it would stand, Leo's in the fastest first sector of anyone. And of course, that's what the soft tyres will do. Currently, I think the main game for DS automobiles, for both of their drivers in fact, is going to have to come down to strategy. It's the S word, as Pablo Sierra, different S, trying to get past Bastien Tan, went a little bit airborne going up the hill there, and he's still with Bastien, losing out coming through, doesn't want to try and make any contact and risk anything. Of course, he is fighting for the championship. But when the championship leader and your closest championship rival is still ahead of you, you do kind of want to make some risks here. And Cable not close to the back of Leo at all. Ocampo sets a new fastest lap of 126.5. Sims trying to close in on Bogdasarov and sets a new fastest lap with it. Leo also sets a new fastest lap. Blue trades of blue. Sims takes second away from Daniel Bogdasarov, but won't get attack mode heading into turn 3, so Bogdasarov could actually try and close in here, as Revo is doing as well. He's got attack mode, and I'm guessing that Cable was using attack charge. Bogdasarov up into second. Is he? He is! Just about as they come through 3, as Cable still holding off Revo. He knows how to race against him quite well, as the Komatsu sponsored the Sims Motorsport number 21 still struggling with trying to get past, as Revo looking still to try and overtake the Cable as they now go up the hill at half race distance. It's not a very easy task, of course, trying to overtake another driver. As you can see, Sierra, who's been fighting with Bastien Tan all day, has just been passed by Tonali Gabo there. As they now go down the hill. It's one of the most rapid parts of any track. The final sector here in Buenos Aires. But those soft tires you can see already beginning to sort of peel as Sims drops to 4th. Leo's got a lot of pace in that car with 5 laps to go. And as for those soft tires, I'd expect drivers to try and switch off of them with 4 laps to go. With the mediums, I'd expect them to come off with about 3 to go. So that could be very interesting to see if Bogdasarov, Sierra, and other medium tire runners currently decide to go on to softs to end the race. Because of course they can come into the pits and go into another set of mediums, but Bogdasarov, that's not Bogdasarov, that's Jonathan Sims trying to close in on Leo, who's trying to close in on Daniel Bogdasarov there. 5.7 seconds away from the race lead. And I don't really see how on earth these guys can get any closer to Ocampo. Ocampo is running away with this race. It's looking as if it's going to be his 4th win of the season, his 20th in his career. And it'll be a race win that will see him return to the top of the World Driver standings as long as he doesn't run into any issues. He's about a third of a pit stop ahead of Bogdasarov as well, so that's also going to help him if we do see another virtual safety car period. I'm not too sure where we're going to see it. Cable looking to try and get past his countryman in Jonathan Sims, going alongside. Revo is going to get attack mode here once they go onto the main straight, but I don't think that they even will try to. Ocampo still leads, Bogdasarov's still there, and Cable dives into the pits with Revo, so they're going to try and make the undercut work. Revo hit the wall on pit entry, and he goes on to medium tires, and Cable comes in now. Could actually get passed by Revo in the pits. Doesn't, thankfully for the guys down at Braun Honda, and they'll come out of the pits roundabout at the back of the pack, as you can see. So they could try and get past the rest of the field, or stay put, keep that gap, heck, maybe even try and close that gap to 23 seconds, so then they can be right with Sebastian Ocampo. They've got the fresher tires. Revo's got attack mode. Don't think Cable's going to have it. No, he doesn't. And virtual safety car. Tommy out of the E3. That right there is the stricken Venturi. And we now have a first virtual safety car in the dry. And that's going to halt proceedings. And that's a big shunt for Cosmos, who's out. As Cable gets a 5-second time penalty. I cannot put into words what I have just seen. But I've seen it. With 4 laps to go. And I think Sanchez is holding up Revo here as well. With the virtual safety car about to end. He has to let him pass. He's been given a black flag with orange disc, so he's got to come into the pits, but he's without a front wing. He lets Revo go by, and that's hindered him so much. He's 28 seconds off the back of the race lead now, as in comes Ocampo, Bogdasarov, Leo, and Jonathan Sims. Bastian Tan takes the lead with 3 laps left to run, and hard tyres that he might want to come off of pretty soon. Many drivers coming in for their technically second stop. Of course, it's their first stop in the dry, but on board with Cable, who comes out of the pits ahead of Daniel Bogdasarov, but crucially 5 seconds behind Sebastian Ocampo. So that gambit has worked for Cable to gain positions, but it hasn't worked for him to get himself right behind in the net race leader, with the top 3 in fact still staying out. Gabo definitely not having time. They will see him to the end. Out of the race goes Tonali Gabo. Another virtual safety car on lap 9 of 12. And struggles for Santino Milano and not QE as well. Pablo Sierra also not really benefiting from either virtual safety car. He's come out of the pits and he's outside of the top 10. He will be 12th, including Gabo's crash. Sims came out of the pits in 10th, so behind Revo. So it's worked and not worked for Revo in some cases, and in others this man Bogdasarov's definitely gained a lot. He's on the back of Cable. Of course, the British driver with that 5-second time penalty not aiding him in the slightest. And is there problems? No, there's not any problems for Dav Sanchez. Much less problems for Daniel Bogdasarov, who takes 5th position as CC comes into the pits. Bastian Tanner either staying out. In comes Santino Milan. But Cable with attack mode, trying to close in on Bogdasarov, who also has attack mode. This is going to go down to turn 1. Dive bomb move. Not quite ready yet. He's going to have to hold position for now. He will try and get him going into turn number 3. So on board with Cable, heading down into turn 3, where most drivers have crashed out of the race so far. And he's still in this, and he's still behind Bogdasarov. Struggles for Bastian Tan coming through that turn. Ocampo behind him, 1.7 seconds behind. Bogdasarov and Cable coming through, and they better get this move done quickly, or else Leo might even try and close up. But this is the race leader, Bastian Tan, who's led a plentiful of laps before this season. He had to let the race lead go to his teammate Oscar Folstad, who is out of this race, but his countryman Sebastian Ocampo right behind him. This isn't gonna be too easy for Bastian to let up. He might want to defend this, but considering the state of his hard compound tyres, he probably isn't going to want to. Faster second sector going to Leo further back, as Sims also resets the faster second sector. Ocampo tries to make the move, but Bastian Tan dives into the pit, so Ocampo will lead the penultimate lap of this E-Prix. CC's dropped to 10th position, and Jack Carter now finds himself in 8th. Haven't really mentioned him that much this season, as Leo up into P3, getting ahead of Cable, sets a new fastest lap. Sims with a new fastest lap as well, trying to close in on Cable. Revo, Pierre Gasly, Cable's teammate, new fastest lap, 1:25.7 on the penultimate lap of this race. Things could get a little bit dicey here, but for this man, it's been anything but dicey. Ocampo, he's led all but one lap of this race. Well, all but one lap of this race when it comes to the net race lead. Of course, when he came in for his first stop, he came out way behind a lot of other drivers. So it won't be a light flag win for him. Sims trying to muscle his way past Revo there and does get himself ahead of the Italian for now. They come through the turns now, just about keeping themselves out of contact. This is the fight for 5th position, and if they can get closer to Cable, it'll be the fight for 4th to the position just off of the podium, as they now run down the hill. And Revo should be able to get attack mode if he closes up to Sims, but that run through that last part of the second sector was absolutely terrible. So on to the final lap we go for Sebastian Ocampo. He's going for his 4th win of the season, a win that would see him take the lead of the championship. And it'll be his attempt now, heading into the final third of the season, to try and win his 2nd ever World Drivers' Championship. He tried to take 2 on the bounce in season 15, didn't quite work out for him, got knocked out of the playoffs as well before the championship round in Manila. But CC now closing in on Pablo Sierra, still not close enough to try and make a move. Revo doesn't have attack mode, his teammate right behind him. As now Bogdasarov coming through the chicane, and I'd expect some of the guys who pitted earlier or pitted onto soft tires to begin to feel a little bit of pain when it comes to this part of the track where you need all the grip that you can get. Bastian Tan basically the only one who's stiff as a rock coming through this turn. But for this man, Sebastian Ocampo, as he now comes through the fastest sector of any track on the calendar, he's taken 3 wins on the bounce, crashed out of 2 races, didn't win last time out, 3 wins in a row, 3 non-wins in a row. He's back on the top step of the podium, rounding the final turn for the 4th win of this season and the 20th of his career. Sebastian Ocampo wins the Buenos E-Prix. Bogdasarov comes home to finish a brilliant 2nd, and even better, Leo comes home with a P3. Cable is 4th, Sims 5th. Revo is 6th from Jack Carter. CC trying to make it a standout finish there. Bastianini fastest lap to finish in 10th. Santino Milan ripping it away from the McLaren driver's hands. And Dav Sanchez will come home to finish in 16th in last position. However, Sims should actually finish in 4th according to that 5-second time penalty of UK balls. So Sims should be elevated 1 position. So this is the podium then. Sebastian Ocampo takes home the race win in Buenos Aires, Argentina from Daniel Bogdasarov and countryman Leo for Aurelio Pinnacle, the man, and finishes in 3rd today. And that was quite the race shown from the number 30. Then it's Jonathan Sims, UK Ball, Revo, Jack Carter, CC, Pablo Sierra and Bastian Tan, the top 10. Then it's Pierre Gasly, Miguel de Souza, Santino Milan, Arnett Babinas Jr., Anot Kiwi and Dav Sanchez, the top 16, with your non-finishers being Tenali Gabo, Cosmos, Tommy, Oscar Folstad, Lewis Olsen and Akari Lopez. In the driver's standings, Ocampo leads the way miles ahead of both Revo and Pablo Sierra. Then it's Daniel Bogdasarov, Oscar Folstad, Jonathan Sims, CC, UK Ball, the top 8. Then it's Akari Lopez, Anot Kiwi, Leo, Santino Milan, Lewis Olsen, Tenali Gabo tied with Cosmos and Miguel de Souza. Then it's Arnett Babinas Jr. and a tie for 18th between Bastian Tan and Jack Carter. Then it's Pierre Gasly, Tommy and Dav Sanchez. In the constructors standings, heading into round 13, Nissan Nismo lead the way from Andretti Honda and Sims Motorsport Nissan. Then it's DS Automobiles, the top 4 separated by 10 points. Then it's Renault Edams, DS McLaren TGR, Aurelio Pinnacle on exactly 100 points. Then it's Braun Honda GP, Aurelio Mahindra, Dragon Renault, and DS Venturi Formula E team. We'll see you guys next time then when Formula E Monopoly Championship returns.